It's Trib Live Radio, Wrestling Reality, one-on-one with me, Justin LeBar. It's been quite the week in wrestling news. More wrestlers than we would normally see making TMZ. And one of those stories, kind of under the radar but is out there, is a story that happened involving Alberto Del Rio at a recent live event out in California, where Del Rio ripped up the sign of an 8-year-old fan who was upset, and his mother was upset by the way the incident went down. And we are happy to be joined by her right now. Her name is Shelly Ehler. Shelly, basically, can you kind of walk us through and describe in your words? I mean, some of us may have seen the videotape, but describe in your perspective what happened.
Sure. We went to the event at the Honda Center, and this isn't my kids' first event. They had been to another WWE show, had a blast. We were excited to go as a family, thought we'd get second row seats. We're so excited about it. They were on all their gear. They had their signs. And, as my son, held it proudly all night, that sign honestly was something that he loved a lot. I mean, little kids like their things, and it was been in his bedroom for weeks waiting, to use it for this event. And the very last event was Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. We get right up to to the fence, and I'm holding him, and he's holding it up so proud. And Del Rio and Ricardo come out, and they kind of give him a dirty look, and he got nervous and pulled it down. And then Sheamus came out, and I said, "Come on, put up your sign, put up your sign." He put it up, and we're cheering on Sheamus. And then Ricardo comes over and pulls his sign from him. And at first I kind of laughed, and I looked at him, and he kind of laughed. But I've never seen anything like this happen before. And so I thought they'd give it back to him. I mean, it's his sign. They start running around with it, and it's kind of starting to get bent, and I could see he's getting worried. So they come around closer to us again, and I look at them, and I mouth, "Come on, give it back. I mean, give him back his sign." And he starts getting upset, and I said to him, "He's getting upset. Please give him back his sign." And Del Rio looks, and he just starts ripping it. And I go, I mean, my jaw just drops. I'm like, really? Like, I couldn't believe it was happening. They're ripping his sign. So my son's getting upset. And I look at him, and I said, "Come on." I go, "He's crying." And Del Rio looks at me, and he goes, "Oh, crying." And he starts mocking him for crying. And I just was like, my jaw drops. I cannot believe this is happening. I've never seen something like this in my life. Like, we're at this event, and this big wrestler's mocking my 8-year-old son. And so I said, "Sheamus is right." Sheamus comes over, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, little buddy. He was so awesome, by the way." He comes over, and he gives him a hug, and my son gave him a hug. And so they went on and wrestled, and my son's devastated. He was more scared than anything. I mean, it was scary when you have like a 200-plus pound big wrestler coming at you, taking your sign, ripping it up in your face. It's intimidating, and it's scary, and it was bullying. I mean, when you take a child, something that they love, something that is very special to them, and you blatantly destroy it in their face, being mean, is bullying. And it's exactly what happened to him. So I was upset. I got in the car. We left. We left. My son was so upset. He was crying. And I tweeted Sheamus, and I tweeted Del Rio, and I tweeted Ricardo. And Sheamus responded immediately. And he is such an awesome guy. And he wrote back immediately. He said, "Shelly," he said, "I feel horrible about what happened." He said, "That was terrible." And he said, "Listen, give me your address. I'm going to send the little guy an autograph picture. Would that make it better?" And I wrote back, and I said, "You know what? That would be awesome. You're a rock star. This is why we love you. Yes, thank you so much." And he said, "You know what? The next time he's in town, I'd love to meet him personally." And I said, "You just made my night. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it." So I never hear anything from Del Rio, who actually doesn't tweet, which I didn't realize, but Ricardo does. So the next day, I tweeted a couple times to the WWE asking if they thought it was okay for their superstars to bully kids, because I had never, ever heard of such a thing. I didn't know that this even happened. I mean, now reading comments from people, I guess they do this. I don't really know. I think it's totally inappropriate, but I'd never heard of such a thing, that their superstars would bully kids and make kids cry. So I never hear anything, but Ricardo ends up tweeting me back, "LOL, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is, so I read a direct message, let's not do this on Twitter, let's just resolve this. I just would love for you to just explain to me what happened, because I just don't get that. What happened, I think, was so wrong. And then yesterday I got a email from TMZ, who was following it on Twitter. I did not contact them. They contacted me. And they wanted to comment on the story, and I gave them a comment. And, this is what blew into today. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm so blown away by the comments that I'm reading by these fans, and it's very hurtful. It's very hurtful for people to go on and say the things they're saying about my son. I mean, saying that he needs to toughen up and he's a baby and I should have never brought him there. I mean, John Cena just said on Access Hollywood today that WWE is a family thing. It's PG. It's a family event, I thought it was for families. I thought that's what, something
right.
you
Well,
can do with your kids.
I think, and, I've said, to me personally, it's something, I guess if it was my son, I wouldn't be surprised. I've been around wrestling all my life, but I guess, if you're not aware of it, the motherly instinct's gonna set in like it did for you. I mean, I guess the only explanation I can offer would be, the bad guys try to stay in character even on Twitter at times,
Right.
which is probably what Ricardo was doing. Let me ask you this: let's say if your son was maybe, let's say 4 years old, or let's say if he was 12 years old, do you think that he and you would have been better with the situation? Kind of basically said, okay, we're part of the show. We're going to get a picture out of Sheamus. Do you think if he was a little bit older, it would have been different? Or
Yes, if he was older, it would have been different. And my stance on the whole thing is this. Listen, I get there in character. I get that. I know it's a show. I get there in character. But why would you target young children? I don't think that bullying and making little kids cry is ever okay. Ever. It's never okay. Okay? To do it to an older person. There's all older people there with signs. But to do that to a young child, my son is 42 inches tall. He's a tiny little guy. To target a little guy like that and to steal something from him, and then when you see him crying, to make it even worse and taunt him, I just don't think that's okay, ever. And like I said to you, too, I've never been to an event like this. I never knew this type of thing existed. Had I done, are you kidding? I would have never brought my kids and subjected them to something like that. But I'm still shocked that the WWE allows this, that the WWE thinks this is okay. Really? It is never, ever okay to bully a young child, ever. And I don't give a crap what any of the fans think or any of these people think. I shouldn't have brought him there. He's a baby, whatever. Guess what? It is never, ever okay to bully a young child, ever. And I will stand by my kids and protect them and defend them. I will never let someone bully them. This is a little boy, and what happened to him, I'm sorry, was disgusting.
Well, I guess if there's a positive in it, I guess it is, of course, if he gets to meet Sheamus in the future, will you take him back to a show ever?
I don't know. I mean, I would love for him to meet Sheamus. He loves Sheamus. I honestly, he's terrified, and rightly so. You're a little guy. You've got a big wrestler coming at you. I don't know. It's up to him. It is totally up to him as to whether he wants to go back or not. I will tell you that was really, really cool is Dixie Carter, and what's the wrestling?
TNA.
TNA. She called today because personally, she's the president of TNA, and she called me personally and said she read the story and is disgusted by it, and she wants to show us another side of wrestling, and invited my family out to their event in Phoenix, and she said, we want to give you VIP, meet Hulk Hogan, the whole thing, because we want to show you this side of wrestling. TNA would never allow our wrestlers to do that, and I said, good for you, because my sons look up to these guys. I mean, all kids look. I buy all their toys. We've got all their little wrestling rumblers. I've got all their T-shirts. I've got the wristbands and the hats, the whole thing. Never would I ever think that wrestlers would target and bully little kids. I watch them, but not little kids. I've never seen it happen with little kids, and I think it's crossed the line, and I think it's inappropriate. And I don't care if they're in character. When it comes to a little kid, it crosses the line, and it's inappropriate. And I really don't feel that WWE has responded to that. I don't think they've responded to that. Their response on TMZ was Ricardo and Alberto Del Rio were acting in character, but that being said, we're sorry. I'm like, no, I don't think you've responded to the fact. My question is, does WWE allow their wrestlers to bully young children? Okay, that's my question to WWE. Is that okay? And I want to ask that to you, Justin. Do you think it's okay for WWE to bully young children?
Well, I don't think the bullying's ever. I think that the problem with me answering the question is, again, and I know that I'm not his mother. I don't interpret it as a bully, a bullying action. I interpret it just, again, this is me having been around wrestling my whole life, so I have a different, I guess, mindset or a different, what have you. I interpret it as, here's the bad guy who knows that this kid loves the good guy who's getting ready to have a match with, so he wants to get this kid to hate him as much as possible. And I'm guessing Sheamus probably won the match, so ultimately the kid will be happiest once he sees Sheamus win. I interpret it as trying to sell the character. I'm not saying I'm happy that that your son was upset, obviously, but I don't interpret it as the bullying. But that's, like I said, I don't that's me, but.
Okay, we totally think it differently, and that's totally okay, and I totally respect your opinion, and thank you for telling me that, because I respect that. I'm totally open to see other people's opinions, and I respect that you've told me that, but I will tell you that I know very clearly that when someone takes a child's possession, okay, and I've been a teacher for many years, and also, I'm raising 2 boys. I've been around children for a long time. When someone takes a child's possession that's treasure to them and destroys it in front of them, it's mean. It's just downright mean, it's inappropriate, and it is considered bullying. When you can't do anything about it and someone is more powerful than you takes something from you and says, too bad, it is actually defined as bullying, and it is bullying. So if you don't see it that way, I appreciate it.
It's ironic because I don't know if you're aware, if you watch the programming with your son, is that WWE actually has a Be a Star campaign of anti-bullying. So, well, Shelly, I thank you very much for taking the time. I know it's probably been a hectic couple of days and situation and somewhat stressful, but we appreciate you at least telling your side of the story. And hopefully in the future, whether it's you guys attend a TNA event or whether he gets to meet Sheamus, hopefully in the long run, the WWE hasn't lost a fan, I guess.
You know what? I'm really grateful for you letting me tell my story. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate this opportunity because I wanted to clear the air. I hope for people who are out there, they understand that a little bit more. I just want them to understand, I know that it is a character. I get that. My point is it's never okay to do that to a little kid. That's my point. That's it. Never to a little kid. You should never do that to a little kid. Inappropriate and wrong. So that's it. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you.